Morning everyone. So in this video, I just want to quickly run over costing up refurbishments. It's a part of the puzzle that confuses a lot of people, and really it gets quite easy with time and pricing jobs up with various different trades, working with different trades, seeing and paying invoices time and time again gets you quite familiar with what you should be paying and what you shouldn't be paying. A couple of quick guidelines, and this may vary depending on where you are. I'm in the north, so typically we would pay about 120 to 140 pound per day for labor, so and then materials on top. So if you're ever getting quoted anything, you can kind of use that as a guideline for the labor cost, and you shouldn't be too far away. If you're paying silly rates per day, then you know you're getting ripped off, and just go and find someone else that wants to work with you and wants to, be your partner long term, because ultimately we're going to be scaling quickly here. You want to get that message across to them that, this isn't just going to be a one job and no more. The guys that I work with now, we've worked with for many years. They are, superb at what they do, and time and time again, they know that if they price right for me, if they're keen, if we get, good pricing, it allows me to have more money to go and buy more properties, which allows them to have more jobs. And it's a circle that works well together. It's a relationship. And I talk about building relationships all the time, and this filters all the way down to your refurb team. So I've put together this refurbishment and pricing menu, which can be found in the comment section below. Make sure you make a copy if you want to use it. And again, you just right click on the tick boxes and it will allow you to put a tick in once you've done it. So you can either just cut and paste these onto your Google Drive and then fill them in as you go around your viewings, or you can do it after the fact, whatever suits. So again, rough guidelines of what things will cost. New kitchen, 2,800 quid to 4 grand, depends on the size and depends on the spec. But if we're just wanting to do it for tenants, we don't need to be going crazy. Same for serviced accommodation and HMOs. We don't need to be spending fortunes on these things. We just got to make them look nice. You got to remember that most of the people staying in these places are not expecting the Ritz Hotel. They're not coming from, multi-million-pound homes. The typical people that will be staying with you, especially if you go after the contractor market for SA, or you go for the student or professional market for HMOs, they're coming from, they're not coming from massive amounts of money. So you don't need to have like the way we do them out, which is very modern but simplistic, is actually luxury to them. It's what they class as value for money for them and where they've come from. And most of the guys staying in our serviced accommodation are tradesmen, probably earning less than 30-40 grand a year, living in 3-bed 4-bed houses that may be up to the value of about 200 to 250 grand depending on location. But so they're not expecting kit outs like £1 million home or a 5 or 6 star hotel. So don't go crazy on the spend. Just make sure that it looks good and it's going to be endurable. Don't go cheap. If you buy cheap, you buy twice. I learned that lesson a long time ago. Don't go cheap. At the same time, don't just go, thinking, oh, well, I need to buy the most expensive because it'll be the most reliable. You want the best value for money. And that is crucial to making sure that you're not constantly maintaining these properties once you've spent the money on the refurb. So kit them out. I tend to new kitchens, new bathrooms. Sometimes it's easier just to put a full new bathroom in than it is to maybe just replace a bath and put cladding, put your PVC around, or tiles or whatever. Just it might just be quicker to get a matching basin, matching toilet, and make it look mint, and then just move on. So those are the other type of things that you have to consider as well. Again, all these costs are just running through the various items that you will typically see in a refurbishment. There's not much in here that I wouldn't think I've missed or you need in excess of. Obviously, there might be a few things. Rewires, always get 2 or 3 quotes until you've got a trusted electrician that is not going to rip you off. I guarantee if you go and get 3 quotes, you will get one person wanting to give you a full rewire, you'll get one person wanting to just do a quick fuse board, and you'll get one person just wanting to do the quick EICR certificate, depending on condition, obviously. But don't always take an electrician's comments for value. I've got a great electrician now. If he tells me it needs a rewire, I believe him. If he tells me it just needs a fuse board, I believe him. You know, that is the relationship I've built. But the electricians for me have been the biggest pain in the whole refurb, because it's something that, unless you know what you're doing, it's a bit like buying a diamond. You don't really know what you're paying for. You're just getting told that it's X clarity and it's X this, that, and the other. And you're like, okay, fair enough. Well, it must be good. You know, so it's the same with if an electrician's saying, oh, well, I'm qualified and you need a full rewire, you're not going to get X, Y, and Z. You go, okay, well, I don't really have any way of checking it myself. So you kind of got to trust the person. So finding a good Sparky is crucial to saving your refurb costs going forward. They will be honest with you. They know the long-term game, and they'll tell you what's required when, and if they have to do a full rewire, they'll tell you what's required. But at least you know that when they do tell you that, it is needed. So costing everything through is, you know, just as simple as going through it, maybe getting a few quotes first few times round, and you should be coming in around these figures. If you're not, then, you know, whether it's way low or way high, you want to be exploring it a bit more, reach out to myself and we can have a discussion about it. Same for furniture. You know, a lot of the stuff we're doing is service accommodation and HMOs, which need fully furnishing. So again, these are just some rough costs of what we typically pay to acquire all the items that are needed to furnish these properties up. So refurbishments, don't let them scare you. You can, you know, do a lot of research. You can, you know, make sure that you're staying on track. This is a good price list guideline. This is from my experience. This is from, you know, costs I've paid. I've had the invoices out. I've analyzed them, you know, took averages. And so there's a bit of data behind all of these costs. But again, area specific, size specific, and, you know, the job that's in hand. But as always, you've got me on the other end of the line. If you need to run something over, don't cost yourselves out of a deal by putting silly refurb costs in. Always leave a bit of wiggle room, you know, a little 10 or 20%, because you will go over what you think. But don't cost yourself out of a deal, which I've seen many times before, where people are putting 20, 25 grand refurbs for 2-bed terraced houses. You know, that's something I might do for 7 or 8 grand. You know, that 12 grand difference is going to be the difference between maybe putting an offer in that's going to get accepted and not getting the deal at all. So you have to have that balance. Custom refurbs up is a skill, and that skill will help you acquire more deals. So I hope that makes sense. But it's a skill that unfortunately you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to go through the experience of doing it. The more viewings you go on, the more questions you ask, the more builders you speak to, the quicker you're going to get up to speed with this, and then get comfortable with what you think projects will cost. So hope that helps. As always, the link is in the comments below. Download.